what's going on? Are you okay? And I just said no. No, I'm not okay.
You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire.
Okay, hello everybody. How are you on this sunny Saturday morning? I hope you are all well. It's been a little while since you've seen my face. So first and foremost, I think I owe you a bit of an explanation as to where I've been and why. Aside from that, we've got quite a few other little things to update you on. Some are exciting, some not so exciting, some are actually quite tragic, but I will get onto that in a minute. So first and foremost, where I've been, and this is a scary thing to talk about, I think, especially being new to YouTube. You know, our story to date has always been very much TTC, and you know, the struggles that we've had with miscarriage and conceiving and keeping hold of a baby due to endometriosis. But this is something a little bit different, and this is a bit scary, so please be kind. So 2 weeks ago, I reached a point where I was beyond stressed. And when I say stressed, I don't necessarily mean like being overwhelmed. I mean, I was anxious all the time. I felt depressed, and I don't use that word lightly either. I have been battling with depression and anxiety for about 13 years, and that all came about when my mum was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 16, 17. And at that point, my mum, I mean, when you're 16, 17, well, maybe, I don't think this is the case for everybody, but certainly for me, my mum was and still is my best friend. And I, you know, was panicking, thinking, I don't know who I am if I don't have my mum. And so that's where it all kind of started. And I saw a counsellor, and I was on medication, and got through it. And I've been just kind of managing it ever since. But every now and then, I'll have a period of time where it kind of creeps up on me again. And this time has been the most out of control it's been. And so I am a digital marketing manager. I work for a big law firm in the city. So working for a commercial law firm, it's quite a high pressure job as standard. And usually I can cope with that, but with the trying to conceive element of our lives at the moment, and having the news that the endometriosis was a lot worse than we'd expected and hoped for, it's all been a little bit too much. And it got to the point where I honestly felt as though I was having an out-of-body experience / mental breakdown. Now, mental breakdown itself isn't a medical term, but there are symptoms associated with that, which kind of indicate that you're not of sound mind. And you know, things like I would talk at 100 miles an hour, and I would be going from one thing to the next, and I'm very, very productive. And then I would be overwhelmed if I needed to make a decision. So if I needed to buy Emmie some sheets for her bed, for her cot bed, I mean, you know, no big deal, just some sheets. But I would spend hours looking at all the different stores, all the different sets, and then I would just feel so overwhelmed that I would just close the browser down and just abort mission. And that isn't normal for me. And I would struggle to get to sleep. I would feel that my heart was pounding and I felt like I had adrenaline running through my veins, and I would have to physically calm my thoughts and calm my body and take deep breaths so that I could even get to sleep. And then on the flip side of that, there's the numbness. I started to feel numb instead of feeling anything, and I knew I was sad, but I didn't know why I was sad, and I didn't know how to stop being sad. So at this point, I mean, my mum had noticed, because she lives down the road from me, so I see her often, but she had noticed and spoke to me about it and just sort of said, you know, what's going on? Are you okay? And I just said no. No, I'm not okay. I feel as though I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders. I am getting so stressed out and irritable in my daily life, you know, with things in family life, you know, everyday life with Scott and Emmie, that shouldn't stress me out and shouldn't make me irritable. And it's because it was all too much. And eventually, if you add so much stuff to your plate, eventually you can't add anything else to the plate, and you're stuck. And that's when you kind of have this meltdown and you just can't cope with it anymore. So I'd be crying a lot over things that maybe I wouldn't normally cry about. But it got to the point where I couldn't think, and I felt, my brain felt dull and I felt numb. And despite being on antidepressants, I knew that being on antidepressants alone wasn't going to help me, and I've always known that. You know, you have to work on yourself as well at the same time, and, you know, get some counselling if you need it, or CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, to help change the way you enter situations and think about things, which I think is what I need. But so it got to this point, I went to the doctors and I was signed off work for 5 weeks, which is quite a long time. My employer have been absolutely amazing and have really allowed me to have that time to take a step back, to review my medication. So when I went to the doctors, they said that perhaps my antidepressants aren't working for me anymore. And so I'm on sertraline, I'm on 100 milligrams, I think it's milligrams. But prior to Emmie, when I had these depressive episodes when I was younger, I was on an antidepressant called citalopram, and it was great. And then I came off it just before I met my husband. But then in my first trimester with Emmie, I started to feel down again. And so they said, you know what, we want to catch this early on so that you're not at a higher risk of getting postnatal depression. So they put me on sertraline, because you can't be on citalopram when you're pregnant. It's not safe for the baby. So I got put on this different one. And I've been on that ever since. And I've always thought it hasn't quite been right, it hasn't quite been as good, but it's done the job and sort of kept me at a certain level so that I can then function and manage and work through my everyday life. So the doctor suggested that we switch back to citalopram, but that is not an easy process. So at the moment I'm on 100 milligrams, and what I had to do was have 100 milligrams a day for a week, then drop down to 50 milligrams a day for a week, and then on that last day that I've had that 50 milligrams of sertraline, the next day I take 10 milligrams of citalopram, and then you build it up. So I did the first week at 100 milligrams because that's what I'm used to, no problem at all. Week 2, 3 days of having 50 milligrams, and I took a nosedive. I just felt miserable, and I was crying all the time, and I was having some pretty scary thoughts, and I thought, this isn't right, and I can't do this. If I do this, I'm likely to cause myself more damage. So I decided not to do that. And so then I've been trying to get in contact with my GP to bring the appointment that we've got to review that forward, but I haven't had any luck. So I'm going through occupational health at work, so I have an appointment next week with the occupational health GP, so I'm hoping I'll be able to speak to her about it. And it's always great to get a second opinion as well, her or him, I don't know, I think it's a her. That's where I've been, and aside from resting, which I have done for the last 2 weeks, I was lucky enough that my husband actually had 2 weeks of annual leave at the same time that started, so that was a dream. So it's been just what I needed to have time with Scott and Emmie and family time together, because we don't, as I've said in previous videos, we don't get that often because we're on different schedules. So that's been really nice. But now that I've had that time, I really need to get learning some tools to help cope, like coping mechanisms for if I start to feel that I'm getting out of control again, or if I can recognize when I'm getting really stressed out or my anxiety is really peaking, having mechanisms to cope with that, to counter it and bring me back down to a normal level and rationally think about things. I think that would be really beneficial to me. So that's it. I'm just being completely honest and open with you that I am struggling at the moment, and I know that there's so many people out there that are and don't say anything about it, or don't feel that they can go to the GP. I mean, we've had Caroline Flack in the news recently having committed suicide because she was in such a dark place, and I suppose she didn't feel she could talk to anyone about it, or maybe she did, but she just didn't feel that there was any resolution or way forward. So I think it's really important to talk. That's it. Just talk about things. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, anyone that you can. There's even helplines that you can call to talk to a complete stranger who is completely impartial and can just listen to you and help you almost rationalise your thoughts. So it's probably different in the US and other countries, but in the UK we have that, and that's brilliant. So that's the first update, and I will keep you updated on that. I'll let you know if I do any courses, or I will do so when I do courses, and what the medication situation is, etc, etc. But now moving on to some better news. So in my last video, I think I mentioned in the summary video of the operation that I had, the laparoscopy, I had gone back to see the consultant, and we'd had like an overview kind of catch up on what happened and what the next steps are. And I decided that it would be best to have the second laparoscopy, because at the moment I'm only ovulating from one side, and the side that I'm not ovulating from, and I know this from my Ava bracelet and taking my temperature on my BBT, there you go, I completely lost my train of thought. I know I'm only ovulating from one side, and the side that's got the tissue on it, I'm not ovulating from. And so with endometriosis, the thing is, it's like it stops you getting pregnant. So at the moment I am still able to get pregnant, or I have been. It's just staying pregnant, but I know that I'm only ovulating from one ovary. So if I leave it for much longer and it goes to the other ovary, I might not ovulate at all, and then I'm really up, basically. So we're going to do it. There's a 1% chance that they can damage my bowel, my bladder, or my urethra, which is the little tube that connects your bladder to where it comes out of. I think that's pretty good odds, to be honest. So we're going to do that, because then once all that's done, I'll be in a hell of a lot less pain, which is desirable at the moment, because it is not fun. And I'll then be able to think clearly, trying to conceive baby number 2, knowing that everything in there has been sorted and it's all cleared out and there's nothing blocking anything, all of that good stuff. So got the letter through for the operation, and it's going to be on the 20th of March. Now on the NHS, you usually wait about a year for these things, but with the clinic that I'm at, I was told it would be a 2 to 3 month wait, and it's been 1 month. And by the time I have the op, it will have been 1.5 months, which is fantastic. So I'm thrilled. But I also think that all of this is really good. It's good that I've had to have these operations, because with my mind as it is at the moment, I honestly don't think that I would be in the right frame of mind to be pregnant, because that sends your hormones all over the place, and if you're not stable to begin with, you're in for a world of pain. So I think it's the healthiest thing for me and my family is to focus on this operation, focus on getting some counselling, get better, and then we can revisit the trying to conceive baby number 2. The third update, which is the tragic update, is that Emmie Rose, my gorgeous daughter, put her cup of juice down on the sofa the other day, and it leaked everywhere, and it was juice, it wasn't water, and it went all over my MacBook. And I don't have Apple Care, it's a 5-year-old laptop now, but I took it into Apple and they said, yeah, it's going to cost you about £700 to fix it. And a new MacBook is like £1,000. And I'm not in the market for spending either of those figures. So I'm lucky enough that I do have an iMac that's, I think, about 7 years old, but I can still edit videos on it. So all is not lost just yet. So I'm just pulling in to Costa because I'm going to meet the student midwife that helped deliver Emmie, who's also one of my very, very, very best friends. I'm going to meet her for a little catch up, and then we're going to go on to Scott's mum and dad's house. We're at the in-laws today just to spend some time with them and Emmie, or for them to spend some time with Emmie. So that is the plan, and I might see you guys later if I do get the camera out again, but it depends what we do. We were going to go to soft play, but it's Saturday and it's wet, which means that it's probably going to be very busy in soft play, and so instead of that we might just stay in the house and let her run around and play. So I don't know, I might get the camera out again, I might not, so you might see me again, you might not. Ooh, living life on the edge. Okay, that's it for now, guys. If you haven't already subscribed and you'd like to do so, please do by hitting the subscribe button below and the little bell icon, because that will give you a notification every time we upload new content. We hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, that sucks. Sorry about that. Maybe unsubscribe. But if you did, great. And we'll see you in the next one. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Bye. Who was it from?
Alex.
Auntie Alex, yes.
And Alex to panda.
It is a panda. Should we open these presents?
Okay.
Okay.
What this one?
Go on then. Mummy, start it for you.
Birthday.
Oh!
Penguin.
Is it a penguin?
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations. Cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part, wanting to give up cause nothing was changing. But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here I see colors in every spectrum. Guess I finally learned my lesson. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. myself, and I'm thinking out loud. We won't need nothing else for the rest of our time, and I know it so well. I will always be by your side. 'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. All the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.